Afternoon, everybody. PA Figs here. We are expecting a significant amount of rainfall. We went from having a dry couple weeks to what looks like it's going to be a cold, soggy week. So there was a bunch of figs that I was hoping would ripen, but let's just do a quick walk of the orchard and take a look. So here we have a Martinenca Ramada, and you can see it is starting to ripen. I'd like to give it a few more days. That one's probably going to swell and burst, or at least spoil with this rain. I've had a lot of problems, and you can see I went on vacation for a week, and some of the trees didn't get enough water. It should sprout back, but will probably ruin any chances of the fruit for this season. Most of them dropped off even. But it has been a bit of a tough season here. So let's see what else we got. I did have one of these Brogiotoneros ripening, and it seems to have disappeared, which tells me the birds probably got it. I didn't cover it enough, but Brogiotonero is looking real healthy this year. It's one of my favorite late figs. Let's see. This is kind of what I do every day, is a little bit of a fig hunt. If I do it every day, I kind of have an idea of what's coming. You see, this guy is almost ripe. I'm trying to remember. I think this is my Bordeaux Negro Ramada. Tag is somewhere to be found. Let's see. Oh, there we go. I've got it written on the tree somewhere, but oh, there it is. It is. Pretty sure this is Bordeaux Negro Ramada. And that fig's starting to ripen. But nothing quite ripe yet. So moving on. Nothing on this guy. Let's see. Nothing on this guy yet. Lots of fruit coming through. I believe that was the air layer of the Bordeaux Negro Ramada, so that one may not ripen unless I bring it into the greenhouse. My panache that's coming back from the roots, you can see the original tree from last year died, so probably won't get any of those to ripen in time. This was my Calderona de Minor. Might be able to get a few of those this year still. We still have a little bit of time left. Alright, let's head over into the other orchard area. One of my favorite here, Preto. Not seeing progress on this. I'd like to. Might be overloaded with fruit. Do have to get some of the weeds out of the center, as you can see right there. I think this is a Hardy Chicago. Got one in a bag here. Not quite ready. There were a few others. I'm telling you, the birds have been just terrible this year. This one's as good as it's going to get. Right here. Birds have been terrible. The SWD hasn't been too bad. Spotted lanternfly has been, the usual pain. Let's see. This is Bordeaux Negro Ramada. Nothing ready on there yet. What is this? I have no idea what that is. Well, leave a comment if you know what that is. Good or bad. Let's keep moving. This video is gonna be a long one. White Texas Everbearing. This one's about ripe. Might as well. These bags I've been using, I haven't been putting them on in the rain unless the fig is really ripe, because it tends to lock the moisture in. This is Rockaway Green, not looking too good this year. This is my Black Madera JFE, trying to get an air layer going on a branch that broke. You can see the branch broke, but it's still got enough energy to keep the tree, the limb alive, so that air layer might be ready. I'll have to check it out. Beautiful tree here. This is a Colidam Nor. But as you can see, a lot of the figs are well behind. I mean, it's mid-September. I've only got probably a couple of weeks left here. There's our spotted lanternfly. See him in there? So most of these aren't going to ripen. I mean, it's been such a late season. I've gotten very, very few figs. So, Black Madera UCD, looking better than it has ever. A lot of figs on it this year, but it just, they aren't hitting that next stage of swelling. Just taking its time. We're running out of time. This is my Colidom Blanca Negra. Would have liked to have gotten some more of these, but they formed really late this year. So probably won't get to see those ripen. Black Madera KK. Again, in good shape, but figs just aren't popping yet. Not swelling and ripening. So we're pretty well out of time, but there's a few weeks left. Probably get some of those. There's another lanternfly. Haven't seen much of an impact on the fig trees yet, but Violet de Bordeaux, really late. Not going to get those to ripen. I think this is another Chicago Hardy. Ripe fig on there. Uh-oh. That's not good. Let go of my bag. Alright. This is the Improved Celeste. Put out a good crop of figs. It'll put out another crop here usually about this time, but it's a little behind again this year. And the second crop is not nearly as good as the first crop, so I'm not really too concerned. It tends to drop a lot of them, as you can see in the ground there. Oh boy, I'm starting to forget what these figs are even as I walk. Luckily, I've got most of them tagged. Mavrasica. Might get a couple of those to ripen. Soda Sicilian. Not real good in the rain. Not real good with SWD either. As they, oh, you can see a bird got that. Oop. Bird got that one. I have had a worse problem with birds today, or this summer, than I've ever had. I normally don't have a big problem with birds. I put out some bird baths, and that always took care of them, but I think we've just had a dry few weeks here, and they've been going crazy for the figs. You know, normally they'll peck them just for moisture. Now they've been even eating them, which is very unusual. But let's crack this open and see what we're looking at. Soda Sicilian, real meaty fig. Does much better in the warmer temperatures. Green Ashia, one of my favorites. I don't think it's going to ripen this year. Not sure, Raphael, if you're watching, I'm not sure how you get yours to ripen so early. I don't know if we have a different strain or what, but this one was straight from UCD back when they did cuttings. And it's a very, very late fig for me, but very good if it ripens. You can see a tree that didn't make it. That was my Malta Black. Didn't make it over the winter. Preto, not doing so hot. Died back a lot over the winter, but come back a little bit. You can see an air layer. It's probably ready to get pulled off. Again, those figs aren't going to ripen in there. It's too late. Random tag. That's always not good. That is Barnasote Negra Ramada. That was the tree I was looking at earlier that I couldn't figure out. I'll just put it in my pocket. Couldn't figure out what it was exactly. And said I thought it was my Barnasote Negra Ramada. Apparently it was, and the tag, I don't know if a bird grabbed it or got knocked off or what. I think I know what each of these trees were by now, but I tend to forget. This is a Sicilian Black. Usually an early producer, real late this year. This guy here might be my Flanders. Let's see. Yep, Flanders. Always produces these great big figs that are super late and barely ripen in time. I'll usually get a few of them. The rest will go to waste or ripen in the cold and not be all that good. All right, let's check out the side orchard. Oh, before I get there, this is my Bronx White that did survive the winter. It died back like it does every year, but it's popping back up and it's got figs on it. Probably gonna be a little bit late this year. All right, the side orchard, which has turned into a jungle. We planted a passion fruit several years ago that we just cannot kill, cannot get rid of it. I've tried spraying it with poison. It just keeps coming back, and you can see it takes over the whole side of the house. I think we did get some flowers this year. Most years it doesn't even flower, but we do have some flowers down there. We'll see if we get a couple fruit off of it, maybe. I forgot what this little guy was. Let's see. Isbatanage. Wasn't really liking life this year. I up-potted it, so maybe next year it'll do a little bit better. My Bifere produced quite a few figs that ripened. You can see the birds enjoyed most of them. See it up there. Birds really like this year. Next year I'm going to have to bag a lot more. In the back here, if you can see it, there's my Hardy Chicago in-ground. That's coming through. Might ripen in time. It died pretty much back to the roots this year, which is unusual against the south side of the house. I forget what this one is, and my hands are full now, so I can't dig the tag out, but not gonna ripen. Desert King, I strangely had one fig start to ripen on this a couple weeks ago that didn't look like it was a Breba, but the birds got to it. You can see there's a couple of what look like main crops hanging on, which is very unusual for this. Behind me is my RDB. It was not doing good last year. Root pruned it this year, but a little bit too late. It did have a lot of dieback. Hoping that it comes back. I gotta chop it down this winter and let it start over, smaller tree. This was a Dominic. Doing okay. A couple figs on it over here. Very similar to Hardy Chicago. And this is my... Hey, what does that say? I don't remember what this is. I have to look at the tag. Again, it's pouring out here, so I'm moving on. Either way, figs probably won't ripen. Same with this guy. This guy here, with all these beautiful figs on it, is the Maltese Beauty, which is a great fig. Again, late this year, but look at all the beautiful figs on it. Hopefully some of those will ripen. And if you have a choice between Maltese Beauty and Maltese Falcon, get the Maltese Beauty. Maltese Beauty is 100 times better fig than the Maltese Falcon. I think that's a Colidom, no fruit. This little guy has been a survivor. It actually has a flower coming out, a little zinnia. This is Colidom Blanc. Probably not going to ripen. Colidom Blanc takes a long time. This is my Bordeaux, or not my Bordeaux, this is my, drawing a blank. Just saw the smaller ones, that was my favorite. Holy cow, really drawing a blank here. Let's see. Broggiotto Nero. Broggiotto Nero, one of my favorite. Tree was doing pretty well, but got hit by the heat, did not like it. See, it dropped a lot of its leaves. Will still likely ripen most of them, but unless we get a warm spell, they're just not as good if they ripen in the cold. So, and this big beautiful fig here is what I think is Pico Bianco. Just that one fig on it looks like. So most years, up until like the third year, it didn't taste very good, and then last year it was delicious. So kept it. A couple to look at in the front yard here. Alright, so the front yard was for some of my sickly figs this year, and they were doing pretty well up until vacation, and they just didn't get enough water. We've been getting water constantly, rain constantly, and then of course when I left for vacation we got a week of no rain and a lot of heat, and you can see they dropped all their leaves, but they're bouncing back. I-258, I think that was an I-258 air layer. This is my big black Madera that totally defoliated. It's been looking less and less healthy the last few years. Not exactly sure what's going on with it, but you can see the bark starting to come apart. So, got a few copies of it. We'll see what happens with this one. And even up here you can see the birds, slugs. Everything likes figs. This guy really got hit hard by the heat last week. This was... oh, my panache. I forgot my panache was coming back from the roots. So that's good to see. And then another I-258 that died back this winter but come back and got hit hard by the drought. Over here, 2 black Madera air layers. Probably be putting those up on eBay or offering them up for sale here shortly. to all of you that have inquired. And then non-figs, but a Preto. Again, not looking like it's going to ripen. This guy here, I'm not sure is going to come back. He was doing pretty well. This is Colidom Roja from Dave. One with the different colors. It died back this winter, or different shaped leaves. It died back this winter and then came back, but drought may have finished that one off. So we'll see. I think that right there was my Galicia Negra that has come back from the roots. This tall guy here needs to be cut back, but it is Daloso. A few figs off of it this year. Not going to ripen. This was my Blava that had died back, was coming back to the roots, and then that drought hit it. I have to look at what this one was. Not really sure off the top of my head. I think it's Colidom Roja, but I'm not positive. Same with this guy. That was probably my white Madera coming back from the roots. Not looking too great. And lastly is my what was this one again? Oh, Adriatic JH, which really didn't look good over the winter. Started to come back. I up-potted it. Still not looking great. I think the winter just really hurt a lot of these fig trees. And I think moving forward, I'm going to try to keep them a little bit smaller to help with nutrient uptake and water uptake when I'm away, to see if that will do a little bit better. It seems to be after 4 years, they started to hit this, decline. And again, I did late root pruning on them, which didn't help. So we'll see how they make out next year. But that's pretty much it. That's a tour of everything, and has not been my best fig season by far. A lot of trees not doing too well, I think, due to the cold winter and late root pruning by me. So we'll see what happens next year, and looking forward to trying to prune up some of these trees and get them healthy for next year. So hope everybody's having a great season and staying out of the rain. I'm PA Figs. Have a good one.